Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Indie Game Movement, the podcast that talks about the marketing and business of indie games. I'm Andrew Pappas. I'm going to be your host again today, and this is episode 148, where we're going to be talking about how to create an engaging player journey. All right, now creating a funnel isn't necessarily a huge challenge, but creating one that isn't mindful of your player's journey will likely not provide you the results or the community you're looking for. There are lots of ways to do this, but one of the best ways to develop and maintain a relationship with your fans is to understand their needs, provide value, and engage with them through email marketing. That's why today, our guest shares his expertise on how to build an email list and develop effective email marketing strategies designed to have players take action and stay engaged wherever you are in the development process. So that's what we're going to be talking about right here today on Indie Game Movement. Hey everybody, and we're back, and today I have Raviv from Daily Cookie with me today. Hey Ziv, how's it going, man?
Hello, Andrew, and hello all the indie gaming community, everyone listening to this. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, of course, and we're glad that you could make it, and because you have a lot of interesting things to share about yourself. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take it, and just, if you could, let us know what you do at Daily Cookie, or what is Daily Cookie, because that's a really cool, interesting name. and when you're not working or when you're not working, what do you do in your spare time?
So first of all, it's just a very nice field for someone that grew up as a gamer and as a coder to be here with you guys. And Daily Cookie is actually a service platform for nurturing relationships with your email list. So it's for companies that want to warm up the email list, create a relationship with the email list, and eventually get people in your email list, in your tribe, to buy stuff from you. But you don't want to be the type of can I say douchebag that just goes to your email list and talks with the people there only when you want to sell something.
Right.
You want to create a relationship first. So I was actually in a crunch, needed that service for the businesses that I run. I operate online schools with online courses and podcasts, and in multiple niches. And I had that need. I felt guilty when I went to bed at night, feeling like, I should have sent another email. And I know that when I send more emails that are high value, I make more money. So I really started to feel so frustrated. I decided enough is enough, and I created dailycookie.co. And we are a team of copywriters dedicated to helping you stay in your genius zone, so that by freeing up your time and having us write the daily emails for you. So we like to look at every email is like a cookie, and it's a piece of value that is sweet. It's something that people actually want, and we write it in a way that is valuable, that creates a relationship. So dailycookie.co is basically a place for a flat rate service for us writing all of your emails and planning them and making them sound like it's you and everything. And in my free time, I either occasionally, not as often as I would love to, play Fortnite with my 7-year-old, or play piano with my 12-year-old,
Nice.
or in general try to do some escape rooms once a week, which is like a huge scene over here in Israel of escape rooms. And that's a little bit about me.
Sweet. Well, that sounds really exciting, especially the escape rooms. I have yet to do one myself, and what was it? I think I remember, or it's more of an experience, but similar. I think even in Japan, they were like exploring the idea of like drive-through escape rooms and things like that. But escape rooms, that sounds really cool. So glad you, that's some of the things that you do in your spare time. It's definitely something I need to add on my list for sure. And again, thank you for sharing what Daily Cookie is. And it sounds really interesting. And I know a lot of the reasons behind of what you decided and why you founded the company are things that we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into that, I'm going to have you go through the Q Box round. And for those of you who aren't familiar, joining us for the first time, Q Box round is simply a series of random questions I prepared for Raviv. So are you ready for the Q Box round?
Let's do it.
All right. What is one major thing you would like to accomplish in your lifetime?
I would like to be a speaker in a convention on the moon, a business convention. It has to be a business convention.
That's awesome. I like that idea and concept is just really cool. So and hey, at the rate we're going here with Elon Musk throwing who knows what up into the sky, that could be a that sounds very obtainable. So awesome. That's probably one of the most exciting ones I've heard on the show before. So cool. Early bird or night owl?
Both.
Oh, so you like burning the candles at both ends then, huh?
Well, but basically I don't sleep.
Oh, all right. He just doesn't sleep. So, well, maybe after the show, you should share with me what you use for energy, because that if I could do that, that'd be awesome. I'm typically an early bird, so maybe you can share your secret later.
I'll give you the tip by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
The secret is you sleep faster.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
Interesting. What's one thing that motivates you every day?
I really feel empowered by this notion of making the world a prettier place, one business at a time. So, like every day, I work with people and focus on making their business prettier, and that excites me.
Okay, so and when you're saying prettier, it's just like kind of being more either effective with what they're doing and really helping them with like their message and their purpose and everything. I would imagine, right? Along those lines, anyways.
That too. And apart from Daily Cookie, where I serve as the owner and operator and copywriter, I also am a business coach with a graphic team of 6 graphic designers and a website developer. So I coach people. And when I coach people, which is a big portion of every day that like I do a lot of these, I really focus on the details of making things pretty. So sometimes even just literally as the aesthetics of a business are important, because details matter and aesthetics create user experience, and user experience creates transformations, and transformations are what we're all here for.
Exactly. I couldn't put it better myself. Cool. All right. If you could only listen to one song for an entire day, what would it be?
I'm a very practical person, so it will probably be like this 3-hour track of meditation music, because it helps me to focus on my work when I'm not in a meeting.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. So you are very driven and focused. I like it. All right, and now, last but not least, the staple here on the show is, what game are you playing right now?
Did you hit the record button, by the way?
Sorry, I said, what game are you playing right now? There might have been an issue with their connection. Why don't we pause, and I'll ask that question again. What game are you playing right now?
I'm not really spending a lot of time by myself playing, but I am playing Fortnite with my kid, as I've mentioned. I play a little bit of Roblox with my 9-year-old, so a little bit of that too.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for taking us and sharing some more about yourself with the Q Box round. But without further ado, we're just going to get right into our topic today, which is how to create an engaging player journey. So, some quick context here for people, and is simply what is a player journey, right? And how I define it, and I'm sure how Ziv will define it as well too throughout our discussion, is simply from the moment that you create awareness and sharing your game with other people. What is that experience like, all the way down to them either joining your community or making a purchase? What is that whole entire journey, that process, like for players? So that's what we're really going to be getting into the heart of with today. And a big part of that, obviously, is going to be about email marketing. So to kick off this discussion, Ziv, what would you say is the importance of understanding the intent and visualizing your player's journey when it comes to email marketing?
First of all, I really love how you focus on that, and the whole topic of the hero's journey is discussed a lot in the context of movies and of like stories in general, storytelling. There's the notion of all the stories coming back to a hero's journey, all the way from finding a mentor, going into the unknown, fighting, overcoming all sorts of obstacles, like dying and being rebirthed, and then coming back, like a new, better person. And if you Google hero's journey, there's a lot of information about that.
Joseph Campbell.
Yes. In email marketing and in business in general, it's very much the same. You need to think about it and you need to find a way. And we actually, we've created an infographic. We can share it with your listeners of the email marketing version of the hero's journey. And it's all about bringing up the awareness levels of the hero, of your customer. You need to know like what are the options out there for the hero, and you need to understand like how do you actually integrate into their life. It all starts with a person that has a problem. They're either bored or they can't find a good game, or they have a very specific niche type of taste for what they love to play, or even they have like problems outside of their phones or consoles or whatever, but those problems are become easier to bear with a good game, with a good session. So they have a problem, but they don't know what to do next. And then like the lowest level of awareness is that they don't know that they have a problem, right? They don't know, for example, that they're playing a sucky game. They don't know that their game palette is not developed, right? The second level of awareness means that they know that they have a problem, but they don't know if there is a solution. So they know that they are playing games that are not fun for them and are wasting their time. They feel bad about it. But if they know that they want to find a good game, they have this desire, I will find a good game to play, but it doesn't exist yet. They don't believe that it exists. Right. So that's a second level of awareness. And the next level is they know that there are games out there that are good, but they don't know that your game is one of them, or they know that your game exists, but you don't know if yours is any better. So that's a level where you know about the problem, you know about the solution, but you didn't choose you yet. And then there's the next level, which is they know they have a problem, they are looking for a new game, they know there are other games out there that are good, they know that your game specifically is available for them, and even the best level of awareness, they know that yours is really a good fit. And then you just need to take their money. So the problem with planning for a customer journey is that usually we think that people will go from like one level of awareness to the top level of awareness like that, if we'll just put the game in front of them. But that doesn't work like that. You actually need to stop assuming. We all know what that means, like making assumptions. And you need to kind of take into consideration that maybe they are not that hot towards your game yet. Maybe they don't really understand that what is different about your games, meaning they know that there are games out there, but they don't know that there is like the one good fit for them. So help them understand that there are games that are boring and there are games that are not boring, that there are games that are specifically good for them, that are actually, we have this itch for playing a certain type of a game, and your indie game is the solution for that itch. So scratch their itch, but don't assume they know everything about you already, and try to be more inviting and raise the level of awareness. Put yourself into their shoes.
Yeah, I think those are really good points here. And quickly for a moment, for those of you who have been listening here for a while, a common thing we talk about on the show, bringing it up multiple times, is know your audience, right? But it goes so much further, as we've probably outlined before, than just simply, oh yeah, my audience likes this type of game. And as Ziv has, detailed in that great explanation, is simply what it comes down to the core is they have a problem and they might not know what that problem is, for example. So it's your job to kind of figure that out. And you already have an advantage too, because chances are whatever game you're creating right now or whatever game you have made, you made it to solve a specific problem. There's some a demand, right? Or whatever the case might be. You had some specific reasoning for making that game outside of, I hope it wasn't just to make money, because those don't always work out as well as we would like it to. So if you had a specific reason, there you go. That could be one way of identifying that problem, that level of awareness that Ziv was talking about. And then going even further. And here I'll even use myself as a quick example. If anybody has ever gone to rentgenmarketing.com, my website, you can look down and see the whole website. The first page you go to is kind of like a landing page designed to identifying your problems. I list out every problem that I could think of that most indie devs have. That's the same type of process, not in the same format, of course, that you guys need to go to, that Ziv has outlined here. Don't make assumptions. Do the work, find out, know your audience, and get that information, because it's going to help you that much further to create that relationship and everything else that Ziv was talking about. So, all right, let's go back to email marketing now, and into our next topic here, which is I want to know. All right, we understand our audience, great insight on how to understand those awareness levels, but how do we get people to sign up? So with that said, it's always a challenge to create awareness for your game. I mean, this is something we're constantly faced with. What are some high-level strategies you would suggest that can build awareness, but also your email list?
So that's a great question, and something that a lot of businesses struggle with. And how do you grow your email list? First of all, I want to encourage anyone that maybe is listening to this and didn't start an email list yet. Don't feel bad about it. Just start immediately. Yeah. Right? There's a saying that if you want to have a 100-year-old oak tree, you should plant the seed 100 years ago. But if you don't have a time machine, then plant the seed today. Okay, because the only way, that's the fastest way you could go. So start your email list today. And in general, in business, I use the metaphor of a free party. It's a party that you get stuff for free, and you go to the party and it's free, and it's just amazing. The free party in your business. And I want to share with you 3 ideas for tactics of how an indie gamer, an indie developer could have a free party that grows an email list. So first of all, it all starts with the people that already know you and like you and trust you and appreciate what you do, in case it's not the first game that you're developing. And that is your past clients. If you already have an email list or a group of power users, maybe it's your fans on a Facebook group or whatever, you want to use those relationships and leverage those relationships first. So the tactic one is use the low-hanging fruit. Make sure that the people that already know you are familiarized with what you're doing, that they're on board, that they want to help you. And this will be important, especially with Tactic 2, that will be used independently and with people from Tactic 1. So it's very important to kind of try to get people to join your email list through giving away something. And the people that already are in your list can help you spread the word about it. So Tactic 2 would be to create an opt-in bribe to get people excited about your game that is in development. You want an opt-in bribe, in case you're not familiarized with the term. Some people call it a lead magnet. Some people call it a gift in exchange for an email. And it's basically something that you want to do to use to excite people, to get them to literally feel like their life is transformed in some way. So I don't want you to just give away images from the game and that's it, because that doesn't really give them anything. It doesn't really serve them in any way except of curiosity for a second. You want to give them something that will also be functional to some degree. Maybe you can create a printable booklet where they could something they can put inside a book when they're reading, and it has your graphics on it, or maybe a small comics strip that they can read for a few days straight, and you emphasize the likeliness, how cool are your game characters. So anything that you can create that is free, that might get people excited about what you're doing, is something that you should do. Maybe if you can even release a freeware version of some sort, or a video, an exclusive video of how the game would look like, these type of things, and people will have access to that if they give you their email address. And yeah.
No, I was just going to say those are really good ideas, and even before, I'm sure we've mentioned it too. Sometimes like my approach that I like to take things based off of the incentives and the bribes and everything that we're talking about here is you're creating something that is full of different media assets, right? So look at what you have. If it's the art book idea is great because there could be concept art or any other pieces that you can, basically chop everything up, whether it has an image associated to it, a video, and even audio. Chop those things up. They don't have to always be grouped together, and those themselves can be used as incentives to get people to sign up. It just sometimes you need to be a little creative too, like making a booklet, whether it's a digital copy or physical copy, making that, giving people, they're already excited about the game, they saw some initial images, and now you're giving them that much more, to giving more of a reason to get them excited about the game, which is probably going to be a good lead in terms of generating that relationship. And I know you had one more tactic that you wanted to share, Ziv. Let's hear it.
Yeah, basically, the best way to market something is to get someone really excited, like to become your champion. And so people, you can invite people to play the game even when it is not released yet. Like even in a meeting, over video meeting, like even demonstrating the game playability and the development of it in the different steps. And people basically, they love to support something that they've helped to build. So if you are able to bring out to people decisions about the characters in the game, about the props, about whatever, try to get them involved even in the gameability, so that they will feel like this is something really exciting, and they will talk about it, and they will get other people to come over to your platform or to your website and to download your incentives. So it's really all about sharing, really sharing, like being open to change things as a result of feedback.
Yeah, exactly, and it's great that you even mentioned that, because right now with one of my clients, that is exactly a strategy we're doing. We're using to build up our email list, because we know how powerful that can become later in having that level of communication and relationship with people. We're using that as basically a gate, or that's one way of saying it, of people sign up for the email address in order to get access to play the playable version of the game, and then to become a part of it, to provide that feedback and everything. So instead of just having everybody, come to a community and then just give them that access to the game, we're making a requirement, hey, to be really involved, and we're making them feel special about it too. Like, this is exclusive, not everybody's doing this. This is your chance to be part of something, and then providing it so they have to put in that email address in order to get access to play the game. So another great idea. And plus, with something like that too, you're also validating the type of people that are playing it, in terms of if they're willing to give their email address and their interest, it shows that they're probably more interested than people that could just sign up just to play a free game, because those players are different types of people, the ones that care just about free stuff, or the ones that really want to get involved. So good points. I love those ideas.
Thank you. And it's, you might, if you're listening to this right now, you might have this voice in you that says, oh, but what if what I have to share with them is not good enough? What if they will not be interested? Or what if they will be disappointed from this, and like from me only offering, I don't know, some video, some small pictures or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you would never know until you ask.
Yeah.
And when you do ask, some will say no, some will say yes, some will say maybe. Like this is the only thing that is sure, that all of the options are there. But you will only hear yes if you ask.
Good point. Because I think what happens too is, like, it just, all of us with anything we do, right? We can get scared sometimes and thinking that, I don't know, I don't think people will like it, whatever the reason that you're trying to justify not doing something. To your point, just ask, because you're not going to know if people like it or not if you don't ask. So I love that. It just that concept and idea of taking action is key for anything you do, but especially with this.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, all right, I have another question too, because I know this probably comes up a lot too, is a lot of developers may feel that people are inundated with emails, so they probably don't want another one. And I think it goes into a little bit with what you just mentioned. So what are some ways that we can counter this? So, people sign up for this, or just get out of that mentality of, people have too many emails, I don't want to bug them.
So it's a great question, and it's a very common concern that not just indie gamers have and gamer developers, but like SaaS companies, coaches, online course creators, service providers, like everywhere, people are afraid, I shouldn't send more emails. There's enough emails out there. But you know what? People actually love emails. There's researches that are done, and it shows that people are completely addicted to emails. They open up their phones. The first thing they wake up, they check their email account to see what went in. They check their emails like a gazillion times a day. I don't know. Some will change. I think that there's like a lot. They check their emails a lot. And they enjoy the dopamine dose of checking your email and seeing what's there. And especially when it's an email from someone that you appreciate, someone that gives you value, you actually love those emails. Like imagine the moment when Netflix sends you an email that says, we found something especially for you that I think you're going to be excited about. You don't mind those emails because they're good for you. They're nurturing a relationship. They care about you, and they show you something you are interested in. Well, guess what? People are interested in what you're doing. They are into supporting indie games. They're into playing really cool games. If your game is awesome, then they would love to get another email from you, and they will not be able to wait until you send it. So I think that the mindset should switch instead of people hate emails to people actually consume emails all the time. And just like you will at some point want to get people to play the game, either to buy it or to play it and see the ads in it, you want people, like at some point you'll put that in front of people. Otherwise, you like the last thing you want would be a game that was fully developed, was released, and then that not a lot of people actually use it and play it. Just like you need to overcome that hurdle of wanting to put the game in front of people, you really want to overcome the hurdle of like the mindset hurdle, right? I'm not going to talk about this thing that I'm so passionate about because they will not enjoy it. Of course, they will enjoy it. They chose to be on your email list for a reason.
Right. Yeah. It's always important to emphasize that and to remember that when people sign up, for that, especially if your intentions along the whole line are pure, are genuine, in terms of providing value and building that relationship, they're going to want to be there to read those emails. So, while the frequency, I'm sure, can change here and there depending on things, but don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. And here's the other thing too, is if you're getting people that you're going to have people that unsubscribe if you get them and you send them stuff. It will happen. The only thing that you should be concerned with is if you start seeing tons of people unsubscribing, then that means there's something else you need to address. But otherwise, Zeev's right. And there's a lot of other people in this industry too that talk about email marketing that know this information for a fact. And it doesn't just apply to our industry. It applies to so many others too. People do check their emails. Just think about it. How many times do you check your email? Regardless of the reason, how many times? It's probably a good chance that you do quite frequently. And guess what? Just about everybody does. So don't be afraid. So great points though there.
And even when people unsubscribe, actually a gift. They're helping you, they're saving you time, they're not your audience, and will not buy from you. And it's actually something that is good for you because it increases your deliverability. Because once people see that, the Google servers, the email servers, once they notice that your emails are being opened more often, and then that's a signal for you, for them later on to send your email into the inbox instead of into a promotion tab or the spam directory. Unsubscribe and they complain about your email as spam, if they mark it as spam, that's so bad for you. So if they unsubscribe, they're basically saying, I will never harm you. I will never complain about your emails. So that's good for you actually. And it's just something that will happen. And it's something that you need to just know that it's good for you when they do. They're cleaning up their own mess, and they are keeping your email way more engaged that way.
Yeah, and just to quickly recap on that too, if people are unsubscribing, it's good, because if they're not unsubscribing and they're not interested and it's going to their inbox and they're not doing anything with it, then that's sending signals to the mail provider that, they're not engaging with this. We're going to throw it into this tab, and then we're going to throw it somewhere else, and it just will be unseen. And from your standpoint, you don't know that that's happening. So if people aren't engaged, it's actually a good thing if they're unsubscribing. Great point. All right, let's mix it up a little bit. Or just go further down this journey, I should say, because we talked about how to get people to sign up and what are some of the reasons behind it. But let's talk about actually engaging with your email list. So to start, once you start building your email list, what would you say are some strategies that you can use that save time and keep your fans engaged?
It's all about planning. So many email marketers are like marketers that use email. They are winging it. They don't have any plan. And while maybe they will from time to time have a sequence, there's more to it, with emails, just like with any piece of content that you produce. So I highly recommend planning into the future. We create plans that are 6 weeks long. We find that to be the sweet spot where it's easy to understand the plan and to execute upon it. And then like you just sit down and you think about what do you want to talk about in the next 6 weeks, right? That's not so too much into the future, so you can actually sit down and write down the things that are important for you that people will know. And we have this system that we've developed in Daily Cookie. That was the origin of this system is actually a character from the show Rick and Morty. And in that show, there's a guy called, he doesn't appear often, but it's like a character that appears maybe 3 or 4 times, called Mr. Mystics. And Mr. Mystics always talk about himself. He will start talking about, hi, I'm Mr. Mystics, look at me. And we found in Daily Cookie that many businesses are talking this way. And I think that, between you and yourself right now, that indie gamers are the same. They love talking about themselves and about their game. Well, the idea of constantly talking about "look at me" is awkward. Just watch that episode again about Mr. Mystics. You feel really amused about how blunt Mr. Mystics is and how he constantly talks about himself, constantly reminding people about his name and asks them to look at them. Look at me. Well, we thought, hey, that is a very nice metaphor for email marketing. So we look at 4 categories of what you can do with email marketing, and basically in relationships. The first thing you can do is say, look at us, right? Look at us. That's just the equivalent of Mr. Mystics. And you want to do that, but maybe just 20% or 30 or 25% of the time. And the next thing you want to do is talk about other people. Look at them. Instead of look at us, look at them. And that's something that happens naturally when you meet a friend in an indie game convention somewhere, right? And you talk about this game that you've played and the developers of it and whatnot are talking about other people, your heroes. And people do that every day. Every time they meet, they will talk about their heroes. It's just natural in relationships. So do that. Talk about who are your heroes. Don't be generous and talk about maybe other games developers that you appreciate, or maybe designers, graphic designers, I don't know, video producers that you appreciate. It could be anything really that makes you look more professional. I wouldn't talk about them and talk about competitor necessarily, but even that is possible. So 25% of look at them. And then the next 25% is about content rules. And in this one should be the easiest for you, because if you're a game developer, then you have YouTube, you have video content, you have visuals. So you are producing content. Give this content away, show it to people. And you should do that 25% of the time. This would be even a podcast, a blog post, a YouTube video, or anything else that you're producing that is original content. And finally, the last category for email marketing, for nurturing relationships and for getting your fans engaged, is going deep. What we mean by going deep is back to the hero's journey, back to the journey of your customer, thinking about the level of awareness, thinking about what is that journey, and trying to help them in there by going deep into their awareness level, into understanding what are their pains and what are their pleasures. So try to really dig deep into explaining to them, maybe the philosophy of why you found a gap in the playability of certain type of games, or maybe going deep in the pleasure of amazing it will feel to play in your specific game because of a certain feature that you've developed. So really try to look at the awareness level without selling, without trying to tell them, hey, buy my stuff, but by showing them that you totally understand the journey they're going through.
See, I can't think of a better way to break down a whole combo of things that you would want to incorporate to really build up that relationship and that value. Those parts, look at us, look at them, share content, and going deep is clearly it's a winning combination. It sounds like that's what your business is really founded off of that formula, but it makes sense too, right? you do want to do some promotion. Obviously, you have to. Like you're doing this so people can buy or become more aware of your game. But you also another thing with the look at them. Hey, we've talked about before. Cross promotion. Boom. There you go. And there's reasons for that, because if you're being genuine, be like, hey, we look up to these people. Those are great things. Sharing content. That's part of the reason why they're there, guys. Make sure that you're sharing cool and exclusive stuff. I mean, if you're promising exclusivity, make sure you're doing that within your email. And then going deep, like we talked about before, the player journey. You want to keep incorporating that aspect of it, but you don't want to make it like go too deep every time, like 75% of the time, because again, that's why this combo of everything else is really important, because it just shows that you care, and how you care is providing that value. Great. I loved it. It was the best. It was a really good combo in terms of how you can really approach that and provide that value there. So
thank you. And we actually have a template that we can share with your audience, where it's an empty template. You will fill it up yourself, but you can specify for each week of content what will be the angle, right? Will it be look at us, look at them, content rules, or going deep? And we even have ideas in there, like how do you talk about us? Well, you can do a product mention, you can do some nostalgia of your company, you can do behind the scenes and so on. It's like a complete set of ideas for each one of the 4 categories. So if you will want, we'll share with you the link at the end, and in the show notes, I guess, and you could go in and download it for free.
Awesome. Yeah. So we'll definitely provide that so you guys can get access to that template, because it sounds like it could be really helpful when you're planning out this type of content and what's your approach and everything else going to be. So, moving right along too, I wanted to go in a little bit further of, this is something I know a lot of developers are asking, which is, okay, and they might have an idea too from what we just talked about, but if they know that their game isn't releasing for a while, let's say it's months or even possibly years, what are some good ways to leverage your mailing list to continue to build your audience while keeping them engaged in their community, in the community engaged? What are some basic things that can be done so that way these people are never getting tired?
In general, I think that you want to make sure that you are in touch with them, not just when you have something to sell or a new game. So the same approach of the 4 categories will still apply, only you will reduce the volume on product mentions and look at us, and maybe do that less often, and maybe talk a little bit more about look at them and cross deals and stuff, and cross promotions. And you will just be open for listening to them, maybe more engaging with questions with them. And you might even reduce the intensity of the emails. So maybe instead of 2 emails a week, you'll go down to 1, or from 4 emails a month, you'll go into 2. I don't recommend anything less than that. I think that 1 or 2 emails a month is really not enough, honestly. But even a short update, like, hey guys, we're still working, we're still here. We got excited about this resource. We found this funny GIF. Like, there's so many things you can do. We found this funny drawing from the previous game or whatever. Just stay in touch with them and keep showing them that you care about them, because you're going to need them soon enough.
Yeah, no, great point, because again, it looks like it just comes down to frequency and planning those things out. And you're still building a relationship. So regardless of where you are in your development, keeping a pulse or just, keeping that communication open to people and still finding those little ways to provide value, like Ziv outlined, is definitely the way to go about it. Because I know, people sometimes they just let it sit there, their email address, their email list, and don't do anything with it. And that can be a challenge too, because, I know that some people probably have done that. And when that happens, like, what are things, what are the types of things if people just let their that can be hard to re-engage with people. So what are some other types of things that people could consider if they're looking to revive their email list?
I love this question because some people even call it like a dead email list.
Right. Yep.
And I think that the like dead email lists can be revived. And I don't want to sound like a magician. Sometimes you really did abuse the email list so bad and ignored it so bad that it's hard. But I've seen an email list that was in my work with a course creator. They had an email list that was not being touched for 6 years, and we've managed to totally revive it and do a launch that made $36,000 just by using email marketing, and that's it, right? So it is something that you should be able to do, especially if you didn't wait for 6 years. First of all, I want you to think about this moment of reviving the relationship as a moment that you plan for. So you don't just go back to it. You decide proactively on 4 ways to be generous, 4 fun gifts that you're going to share through a sequence, like a revival or a warm-up sequence or a welcome sequence, no matter how you call it. You're going to give away 4 things, and they're going to be something that will be very fun to get and will basically reignite the fire in the relationship. Why 4? Well, because, again, we want to be generous, and providing 1, 2, or 3 kind of, it's not a habit yet. It's not like something that you notice. But the 4th one already is like, it starts to feel like, wow, you really care. And also because of email open rates. So in the open rates are how many people actually open, what is the percentage of people that actually open your emails. And in the beginning, there are not going to be a lot that open up your emails, especially if you didn't email them for a long time. So in general, in the email marketing world, most of the people will say that the email list, the open rates are between 10 to 30%. So just statistically speaking, if you're sending 4 emails, there's a really good chance they've got one of your gifts. Does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to your point, if you just shoot one out there and these people haven't heard from you in forever, and let's face it, people, we get lots of emails probably, and we're always checking them. But if there are lots of emails, it's really easy to potentially miss this one, especially if it's someone that hasn't been on your radar for a while. So having a little bit more of a frequent emails coming out and just to really showing that you care. And then there's easy things to structure it. So it's like when they see, if they miss the first 2 and they get the 3rd and they're like, wait, this is one of 3. So, and then you could probably see, I don't know how statistically accurate this is, but you would probably see your open rates and everything else start increasing over the duration of that campaign. But again, I think more than anything, the point is you're getting in front of that person. You're creating multiple opportunities for them to see your email, that sequence at least once, which is exactly what you want to do. So it makes complete sense for me.
Yeah, and in terms of sequence, you really want to start with an email that is some sort of an apology email. Now, I don't want you to make a big fuss about saying you're sorry and like starting to explain, yes, because my dog was sick and because
Yep.
I was so busy and I had a little bit of, 2 weeks of depression, and then I had to go to the gym, and all my muscles were painful for a week. You don't do that. Just say, I'm sorry, I wasn't in touch as often as I should have been, and here's my plan to fix it from now on. I'm going to send you this many of emails starting tomorrow with a gift about this topic. You're going to love it. And then give them a big CTA. CTAs are call to actions. Give them a CTA about unsubscribing. Tell them very, very clearly, hey guys, if you don't want to receive more emails from me, because I am going to send a little bit more emails starting tomorrow, please unsubscribe. Here's the link. and give them a button to unsubscribe or a link to unsubscribe or point them towards the link at the bottom, which, by the way, you always have to have a link for unsubscribing. Make sure you always have that. Why is that important? Because if they didn't hear from you for a long time and you send them an email out of the blue, there's a really big risk here that they will complain that your email is spam, that they literally forgot that they've opted in to your email list. So by talking about that subscribe option and putting it in front of them very, very clearly, you're going to save yourself, save your deliverability. You will have a lot of unsubscribes, like 5 to 7%, and it will be scary AF. But that's what you need to do, because it's better than having 3 people that complain about you as spam. And then once after that, you will go into the 4 emails with the daily gift. I think that 4 days straight, but if you prefer, you can do it like 2 days a week. And then at the end of the 4 days of gifts, tell them what will be the pace from now on, reestablish the relationship. Maybe you will say, from now on, I'm going to send you an email every 2 weeks. Or you will say, from now on, I'm going to send you 2 emails a week. And then you just go into the sequence we've mentioned before with like 20%, 25% look at us, look at them, and content rules and going deep.
Yeah, great point. Because being what it comes down to, folks, is being transparent. You want to be upfront and honest, and like we said, genuine in your attempts to reconnect and to get them excited again. And give them an opt out. Maybe they lost interest over time or whatever the reason. Because if they're not interested, you don't want them to taking negative actions like saying it's spam and other things. Make it easy for them. And the ones that stay, that's great. And don't be afraid. There will be people who unsubscribe because they haven't heard from you in so long, and they might not even remember you, and that's okay. So yeah, great plan. Again, the transparency thing I think is key, and then just show them that you care. So awesome stuff. All right, well, as we get ready to close here, I just wanted to talk about a lesson learned, and in light of that, we clearly identified that your email list is a crucial part of creating your overall funnel. But what you say are missed opportunities or mistakes that people make when they're creating their funnel?
This is really something that we see a lot of different mistakes, and I will just first of all, the number one mistake we see is the topic of deliverability. So the deliverability is something that not a lot of people are aware of. It's very technical, and I think that it's important to know like the terms, because then you can Google them. And in general, deliverability is something you check with the support team of your email provider, like like if you have an email provider like G Suite or like Hotmail or your hosting service, these are the type of people that can help you, and also the people that are in your CRM, like MailChimp or whatever. So you have someone to talk with if you have a problem, and there are tools to check if you have a deliverability problems, like mailtester.com. And what you need to check is that you have SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Those terms are kind of like a passport for an email that travels through the internet, and you just have to have the right passport with the right stamp and everything. So more often than not, we see people that never checked if they have any deliverability problem, and so it's better to be on the safe side and double check that you have those parameters defined correctly.
And when you're talking about deliverability, is that like basically when you send out people's emails address being able to get to that inbox, or whether it's fake or whatever? Just to define a little bit more with deliverability, if you could.
Yeah, basically, deliverability became a real problem when Google introduced the promotion tab, and not a lot of time afterwards. After that, the spam directory on pretty much all of the email providers, servers have become a very popular place for emails. So you don't want to be in there. You want to get into the inbox. Otherwise, you don't have a chance like for the email to be read, because most of the people don't read their spam directory or their promotion tabs. So deliverability is all about the art and science of getting your emails to arrive into the inbox. It's stuff like don't use the word free often. Don't use a lot of capital letters. Make sure they gave you permission to send the emails. They make sure that they actually opted in. Make sure that you give them an unsubscribe link. All of those things will help you with deliverability. But the technical side of things, that passport that you need to have, or the driver license, the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, you will, if you Google that, you will find many articles on how to double check that. And again, if you just go to mailtester.com, they will tell you if you have a problem with any of these.
No, I think that's awesome and a really great tip, because again, when we think about email marketing, we think of it as basically, oh, I'm going to create a message and send it to people and incorporate, all this information, my call to actions or whatever, but we don't think about the technicalities of it. And because it doesn't seem like it's a technical thing, but clearly in this instance, especially with how you're talking about deliverability and how it can really affect, that could, like we said, that could be a really big missed opportunity there where people might be getting it, but it might not be going to them directly. And checking off those boxes, doing some initial research, and again, for me too, I always recommend people. It's great to have someone do these things, but at the same time, it's good that you know about it, that you're aware of it, because it's just going to make sure that you're firing all cylinders. And also that, or your team is, but also that you're delivering the content to the people who want to see it. So I love that tip. I love that advice in terms of checking your deliverability, because I think that's one of the main ones that people never think about it, because it's a little bit more technical oriented. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, sure. And in general, if you are lost with ideas of what to write about, and you should check out the template that we're sharing in the show notes, which is free. You just literally download it. But if you are still lost for ideas, you still need help, well, there's this website that really helps you with finding up ideas for emails. And you actually already know that website and are using it constantly every time you're trying to solve a bug in your code. I remember, as a coder, I would go to Google and look for if someone had that error code or whatnot before me, and lo and behold, I would see a lot of articles that help me understand the code better. So go to Google also for ideas for your research, for your marketing. You can go into Google and say, give me 100 ideas for daily emails. Give me 100 ideas for emails that nurture relationships. Give me 100 ideas for emails about a topic, about games.
Yep.
Like you just go and Google it, you'll find so many resources and ideas. And you only need one today and you're good to go. So don't make it into a complicated thing. We know how to overcome complicated things. We do research and we figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Well, definitely love those tips. Are there any others that you wanted to share with us before we close?
I really am passionate about this idea of the 10-hour principle or the 10-hour rule. And it's something that I see all the time with businesses, small businesses, and indie gamers are also sometimes suffer from this situation where they don't understand why the marketing is not working. And the secret weapon of businesses that work, that actually get results, is the 10-hour principle. And the 10-hour principle is that you need to put in 10 hours a week into marketing. And when I say marketing, I mean like one tunnel. Choose one tunnel, maybe two if you really have to, but be really good on that one tunnel. Like if you chose, for example, search engine optimization, then do that. If you chose Facebook groups, you do that. Like choose one, Instagram, whatever, and be really, really good at it. Get to the point where your skills are amazing at it, and that you can do like the 10 hours of work a week in even as fast as 1 hour, and then start another marketing tunnel and still do 10 hours a week of marketing. And this was actually well researched. There are books about the number 10 hours a week. It's actually not a coincidence, and it's so important. People are just not putting it in enough hours into one thing so that they will actually improve their skills. And that's why I highly recommend just being very aware of this. It means to do like 2 hours of marketing a day. You might think that you're already doing way, way more, but because you're not limiting yourself to one specific marketing tunnel, then you maybe are not measuring it correctly. Measure everything that you care about. Measure everything that you want to control the result. And marketing is also one of those things.
That's perfectly well said. No additional comment there. Invest the time, guys. 10 hours a week. That's about 2 hours a day. Just make time for it and focus on one thing, because you get better at that and learn that you're gonna see results.
Yeah. And if you are interested in email marketing, but you're finding it hard to, like, you want the result of email marketing, because there are results out there. 80% of the people in surveys say that they make a money decision. They buy stuff as a result of an email. 80% of the people say that.
Wow.
So you want to use emails, but maybe you don't know how to write, or you feel like you're bad at it at the moment. Don't worry. There are so many resources out there to improve your skills with copywriting and with writing. And you can, just look for Facebook groups. We even have a free Facebook groups where we teach people how to write emails. It's called 5 Emails in 5 Days.
Okay, cool.
And then, like, we basically challenge you to write more emails and to be more in touch with people, and like be able to write them and then schedule them and whatever. And we also have some free resources over in dailycookie.co about all of this, about email marketing. And so you can check it out as well.
Awesome. Well, guys, there's clearly lots of extra value here that Ziv is providing us from the template, but also these other resources and tips. So can't thank you enough, Ziv, for having you on the show. But before we go, what is a good way that people can reach out to you if they have either any other questions, or what's the website? So what's Daily Cookie's website, and anything else that are good ways for people to connect with you?
So first of all, I want to say, if you are an indie game developer and you're excited about actually launching a game, and you feel ready for the marketing, you feel ready for the 10-hour rule, you feel ready for sending more emails, I would really love it if you shoot me an email about your game and maybe show me what you got. I love seeing these type of things. I love supporting, crowdfunding games, board games and whatnot, like all sorts of things like that. It's just something I'm passionate about. So let me know, and if I can, talk about you and help you, that's awesome. So my email address is Ziv, that's ZIV @dailycookie.co, kind of exactly like you hear it, dailycookie.co, CO. And our website, where we offer resources about email marketing. We have an online course about email marketing. We have we have even a copywriting club where you can just have a weekly coaching session in a group setting about your business and about marketing and about copywriting in particular. And we have, of course, a service where we write all of your copy, including basically anything that you need. If you want to know more about that, you can head over to dailycookie.co. That's DAILYCOOKIA.co. So dailycookie.co. And you will find all the details there. the story of how I decided to open up this company out of my own itch that I wanted to scratch, and how I decided to basically help other tribe leaders and business owners to overcome this problem and not feel guilty ever again from not staying in touch with your tribe.
Awesome. Well, Ziv, I can't thank you enough for everything you shared with us, from explaining and going into greater detail about what that player journey should look like and how to incorporate that into our funnel with email marketing so we can really build those strong relationships with the community. So again, thank you so much for being on the show today.
It's been a pleasure. And if you are listening to this, indie gamers, and you're feeling a little bit like it's hard and it's frustrating, please know there's help always on its way to you if you just be open for that. And it's hard to develop independently, but it's worth it. And thank you, everyone, for listening.
Awesome. And thank you. Hey, everyone, and thank you for listening to another episode of Indie Game Movement. I'm Andrew Pappas, your host, and the show's producer is Mustafa Price. A special thanks to Taisuke Kimura for creating the show's theme and Donnie Wilson for the logo design. If you enjoy and value the content, you can support us by visiting our Patreon, which is patreon.com/IGM podcast, and select a tier that meets your needs. Show notes for this episode can be found by visiting rengenmarketing.com/the number of this episode. Rengen Marketing is a consulting marketing company that helps indie devs with their marketing efforts. So if you're looking for a helpful marketing content or marketing plan template for your current game, then please visit rengenmarketing.com. And as always, thanks for being such great listeners, and we'll see you next time on Indie Game Movement.